Greetings in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, Kohen forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. All esteem, honor, and glory unto our Lua Yahuwah. My name is MELEK Shelemoth. Today is the 14th of January 2025. Current time is 6:16 Eastern Time PM. And I'm going to do a little trade recap here using bookmap replay mode. And I'm doing this as a trade journal for Apex and also for Bookmap Academy. The reason I'm doing this also is to keep a detailed record of my trading strategy because when you request payouts or you start requesting consistent payouts from Apex, I've heard from other successful traders that they require that you show them evidence of your strategy, right? So I'm going to be making these videos along that lines from now on, just to give them proof of how I'm trading and to show some consistency, right? So let's see here. We're gonna use a 30-second time interval, which is this right here. So what's happening here is these VWAP bands. This VWAP band is supposed to be anchored from the RTH open, at 9:30 a.m. right? But this video began recording from around, let's see here, what time is it? Let's see if I could just hover over something real quick. Right, so it's about 10:29, right? So the anchoring starts from around this time, but I had closed my my browser, well, not browser, but the application Bookmap, and when I reopened it, that's when it records this data. So this one isn't really anchored from the RTH open, but the trade happens from the RTH VWAP, right? Now it's gonna switch over to something like the upper deviations on this recording, but just for context, this trade happened at VWAP, right? So let's hit play. Let's see, I have so much stuff here. Hit play. Alright, so this trade takes place around 10:44 a.m. Eastern Time, and what's happening here is this is a reversal happening close to like the IB low, but it's a low volume retracement, right? So if I just kind of bring everything into context, you would see that the buying volume usually starts dropping off, right? And right now it's loading, so that's why it's paused right there. So in my strategy, 365 strategy, I'm looking for low volume retracement, right? So this is where you see these bands here. Now this one has moved up a little bit, right? But in general, the volume is going to drop off, right? So let's go. And it's loading some events. Sometimes this has a little delay sometimes when it's playing. And I think it's because I have all these market pulse indicators, so I guess it has to catch up a little bit with the memory use, I guess. Right, so we're pushing up here, pushing up off of roughly the IB low. We're getting a reversal here, right? So I'm looking for price to come back up to this level here. This is Camarilla R3 at 58.9475. right? So in the actual trade, VWAP was more around this level here, right? So the 365 is usually around, it's either around VWAP first lower deviation or second lower deviation, which is this one right here, right? So price is going to push up to here. We already start getting some absorption here, right? Absorption indicator is going off. And let me just increase this here. Usually I have this like this, so I'm gonna keep it like this. I hope that doesn't affect how people view this video. So we're pushing above I don't know if volume point of control was really here at this time, but that's the volume point of control from 10:29 when this video starts. So right now it paused again, loading up a little bit. So let's see here. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. I don't like these little delays when I'm trying to do this video and it has to load up like this. Alright, so the trade is coming up at 10:44. We're 2 minutes away from the trade, right? I don't think I sped this up at all. This is just regular trading speed or regular order flow speed. Usually you could speed it up just for time conservation, but this trade is almost there, so we could get to see a lot of the trade on an actual time frame, nothing sped up. So right, so I'm looking at the retracement here, right? We're coming up to 10:42. We're starting to move sideways a little bit. Volume is falling off, right? I'm getting order spikes stacking to the sell side, right? So that's order stacking right there on the sub chart from the market pulse. That's this indicator right here, order stacking. So we're getting resistance, passive orders up here. The algo is kind of messing this up a little bit, but all those blue ones right there, all those are passive orders right there. So we're running into passive orders, right? So we're getting those spikes here around this level here. We're getting spikes, right? And we're getting spikes there again. Whether this is because of the algo, I'm not sure, but I think this is, the algo is kind of excluded from these spike indicators. These are market pulse indicators, and we just have the actual passive orders that stay in the book, like this one right here, right? That's going across, and these algos actually come into them and move around, and you know what I'm saying, add to them and take away. So we have the resistance building. Right now it's loading up again, paused. So we're gonna get up to Camarilla R3 soon. It's 10:43 now, so the trade is gonna start spiking up to the upside. Right, let me just open this up a little bit. So what we're starting to get here is somewhat of a distributive structure, right? So where you have the preliminary supplies, the buying climax, the upthrust, and then we start getting that distribution, right? So we're pushing up into Camarilla R3 now. We have the absorption indicators going off, right? So absorption as we're going up. We have some anchoring right here, absorption, right? Absorption sellers. You see it spiking there, VPA anchor spiking there. So that's absorption from the sell side. Passive orders, you see we're running into passive orders. We get something like the preliminary supply where we get the first kind of pullback right there up at the level. This is where VWAP was, around this level here. Now we're gonna get the buying climax, right? So you see volume is coming in. Buying climax above Camarilla R3. Waiting on it to load up now. Let me try this. Because I have the desktop audio off, so you can't hear the market pulse, but I can hear it. So Maybe that's taking away some of the processing power. So let me take those off. Alright, so we have the preliminary supply first pullback right here. Somewhat of a buying climax. We have a pullback. This is my entry right there. Right, so you see my trade entry is just at the breakdown, one tick below Camarilla R3. We have a retest right there, and this was VWAP, right? Pushing back above. We see an exhaustion here from the best ask or the best offer. That's that red right there. This light blue right there, that's the NQ correlation tracker. This one right here is the gold tracker, and this one here is the euro tracker, euro futures. So we have the breakdown of the structure here. First, from the distribution, the uptrust, the buying climax, the uptrust. We have a little distribution auction, breakdown, retest, retesting Camarilla R3 and VWAP. Alright, so it's loading up still. Come on, let's go, man. My apologies on these this latency, this kind of delay that's happening here with the replay mode. Right, so we get the retest, we get the follow through. We're back down here where we broke down to, and now breaking these lows, 58.92, 58.93. Right, and let me just go into some more detail. I have my first partial down here at what is it, 58.88.50. Right, so almost got it. Looking at price action now to see if we're gonna get this reversal. We have selling absorption there. That's those orange rectangles right there. You can see the 113.98 absorption sellers, more absorption sellers, 70 right there. So we have selling pressure still. We have the VPA attack, which is really volume pressure. We're getting some spikes right there on that. We have some buying anchoring though. So we see the buyers right here, 91.82. They're buying right there, trying to support price. So we have a little battle, we have a little auction right now. You see my stop is trailing down as we hit 4 points. My stop starts trailing by 4 points. So you see the stop. Wait, let me just do this. Initially that was the stop right there. The stop is now down here. About to get this first target. We have an iceberg buying there as well. Right, so took off 2 contracts selling right here, selling from this level 58.94.50. Took off one at, what is this, 58.88.50. Right, the trade is still looking good, looking like we're about to move down a little more. And we start looking like we're getting some buyers coming in here again. 125 buying icebergs. We also have 89 absorption buyers. Iceberg sellers coming into play. They get stopped out. We have absorption 110, 125 sellers. but the buyers are starting to make their move here, and that's when I just stopped out of the trade, right? So stopped out of the trade because we actually broke down from this structure, right? Broke down again, and now we're coming back into the structure right here. I just, if I wanted, what I wanted to see was something like maybe a breakdown, retest of the structure, breakdown, maybe a retest, and start following through from here, right? So retest and start breaking down. The way it's moving back up now, rise in volume, it's time to stop out of this trade, right? So that was the trade right there. Yeah, and that's it, man. All right, y'all. So sorry about the latency with the replay mode, but it was good to have it in slow motion, I guess, to really see and break down the strategy, right? So that's the 360 fire strategy. Is basically in a downtrend, and let me just pull this across as well to kind of show what I'm looking for. Right, so this is my checklist. Higher time frame downtrend. We have the location VWAP, the central, the floor pivot, the pivot level was Camarilla R3. That's not listed in there. I have to edit this. And let's see, it was an automatic rally on the 1 hour chart. It's a lower point of supply on the 4 hour chart. Let's see, going down here, we have the low volume retracement. I showed you that. Low drop in volume or lower in the volume isn't rising as we're going up, right? So then we had low volume buying exhaustion. Showed you that in the distribution. High volume buying exhaustion, that was there as well on the uptrust. We had orders stacking on the offer. Showed you that with the order spiking. Orders pulling off the bid. We didn't really have that. Oh, we did have that, right? Let me just right, so this is right. If you could see here, orders are pulling off the bid, right, as prices coming down. So this one stayed in the bid a little bit, but most of them were pulling off the bid, right? So let's see, we had VPA anchor sell spikes. We did have that. I don't think I showed that. Yes, so there it is, right? So VPA rollover, that's the VPA anchor sell spikes. We had some buy spikes as well. Let's see here, where is it? VPA rollover, right? So we had this, we had this one we didn't have. We had VPA buying spikes, right, which was this one, VPA anchoring buying spikes, which is here, right? So what's that actually doing is showing that there's a divergence, right? Because there's a buying absorption, but price is still moving down, right? So let me just bring this into context, right? So you have the buying anchoring here, price moves up a little bit but still moves down, right? So here again, that's when they start moving to the upside, right? So let's see, we have VPA dominance, that was to the sell side. That's this purple line right here, right? So that's the VPA dominance, right? It was supporting the trade from this point on around 10:45. And order stacking, well, I showed that was, where is it? Here. Well, let me go back, right? Order stacking here, order stacking here to the sell side. Yeah, and that's basically it. So just following the strategy criterias, and it was a decent trade, you know what I mean? Not too bad. This strategy isn't one of my favorites because it's trying to catch a pullback in a downtrend. So I rather sell from the top, which is the black sun strategy, right? Because you sell from like the upper deviations. This one is really trying to catch entry in a downtrend, right, which could be tricky. So you're basically getting like a short squeeze and you're trying to catch the top of the short squeeze, right? So not my favorite, but when you have to switch up according to the market, that's what we do. All right, y'all, it's Melek Shelemoth. Y'all trade safe and stay blessed.